Radio Memories Network is brought to you in part by Liberated Syndication, podcast publishing made easy, libsyn.com. That's libsyn.com.
Welcome to the Old Time Radio Network Detective Stories, continuing America's love affair with private eyes. We now go back to the early days of radio and our imaginations with our feature presentation.
My dear madam, such a pleasure.
Speak for yourself.
I always do. Now, what little treasures have you brought me?
I have nothing left.
Yet you have everything to lose.
You are detestable, Mr. Ogilvy.
Hatred is so close to love. Have you considered my proposition?
I have.
And?
Your face is greasy.
I lunched on suckling pig. Young juice.
How can I trust you?
We shall both gain. That is the best trust. An Edinburgh fog, you know of it?
No.
It is a dessert. Whipped cream and sugar. It awaits me.
No one must be hurt.
Either do or do not. In my hand or in your empty purse, which is it to be? Thank you. Ah, yes. This should stop the bleeding.
I passed this woman on the pavements of Leith. Her snottery-nosed son was being impudent, and she threatened him thus: "Behave yourself now, or McCleavey will throw you in jail just like he did your father." She had not even seen me standing there. Fame of sorts, I suppose, and it certainly had the desired effect. The boy bowed his head and wiped his nose. Have I now become a myth in my own time? A giant presence looming over Edinburgh to frighten children and give our criminal fraternity the called creeps? Here I am, James McCleavey, Inspector of Police, at the height of my powers, ripe on the bough, the eye of an eagle, the stomach of a camel. Here I am. And yet a sense of futility snakes in with this dark night. An emptiness, a foreboding. I have tried to make it my practice never to investigate the future, but now I wonder, what does it have in store for me? Why this feeling of unease? Now let me see. There are three fates who tangle up the thread of life. The first one's fine, Clotho. She spins. The second you'd best keep tabs on, Lachesis. She twists it strong and weak. But the third is the very devil, Atropos. She has a big pair of seam-biter shears, and when it's time, she cuts you down without fear or favour.
Who is it?
It's me. Your brother, John. Let me in, Moira. I need shelter.
What's happened?
Nothing. Something. No good.
What?
No good.
You have blood on you.
How do you know? You're stone blind.
I can smell it. Blood.
All right. Now carry it like the plague. You satisfied?
Don't be cheeky.
It wasn't my fault.
What do you want?
Just shelter till the morning.
You can't hide, John. It'll find you out.
Just till the morning.
What happens then?
Well, I know somebody can help. Please, Moira, you stick up for me, eh?
There's bread and cheese on the table.
Oh, that's what I thought. That's expected. You see, that'll be fine in the morning.
Aye, so you keep saying.
Well, this person, she can help me. But no now, no at night. Just she works. Yeah, that's what she does. She's a hard-working girl.
What's all that noise, Hannah?
Silas Ogilvy, celebrating.
I don't like that man.
But you run a body house, Mistress Brash.
True, the Just Land high-class but body.
He's paid for a dozen champagne and 3 of the girls. It's a quiet night. Custom is everything.
Isn't it so?
Grace Pringle, where are you joking off to?
I need a whizzy.
Well, do it and get back to your chosen profession.
Oh, he's gruesome fat.
He's custom.
You look like Watty to the worm, Grace.
His hands are terrible slimy.
Grace, where's my little Grace?
Oh.
These inside privies. I warned you.
Where is she?
Grace is requested by another client. Her regular.
I've already paid, Jean Brash.
The twins will compensate you.
2 for the price of 1.
Oh, but Grace is such innocence. Oh, she invites corruption.
And you carry it.
In my very pores.
No use looking at us. We were corrupted long ago.
Our mother's milk.
Then I shall return to my accessible coupling.
Makes you want to wash your hands.
And your feet. You indulge that girl.
Her ruin will come soon enough.
Where are you going, McLeavy?
Burglary, sir. The High Houses of Leith.
I know of it.
Mrs. Selkirk lost all her jewellery.
I know that as well. Back from a charity meeting to find her butler unconscious on the floor and the street door wide open.
As always, Lieutenant Roach, you grasp the detail like a veritable master. Now, if you'll excuse me...
I will not.
What?
You owe me a written report on the Haymarket affair, a case belonging to another station in which you interfered.
I solved that case.
You interfered. I have waited a week for that report. I shall wait no longer. Besides, Mrs. Selkirk is a vulnerable young woman, a recent widow, her husband well respected. The matter must be handled with some delicacy.
Then I'm your man.
I think not. Constable Mulholland?
Do I hear my name, sir?
Indeed, it is time you came out from under McLeavy's shadow. You will assume the mantle of this investigation.
Thank you, sir.
Don't let me down. Now, Constable Miller, a word with you.
You sleek-it pooches.
The Haymarket. Never fish in another man's stream, sir.
Exactly what you're doing.
But you are poaching. I have a permit.
Sleek-it pooches.
Right, off you go, Mulholland. Miller awaits you at the desk.
What?
He will accompany you in the case.
But, sir, you said delicacy.
I did.
With all due respect, Constable Miller, the boy's a dunderhead.
And no doubt he will improve in your company.
Off you go, Mulholland, and don't let me down.
I'll do my best, sir, but Miller, I'll do my best.
Haymarket. I await the report, McLeavy. Write it.
This is menial.
Anything wrong with a washing line?
Do we not have maids?
Aye, and you're one. Careful with that sheet. You could be jigging on it the night.
Can we not use a laundry?
I like to keep my hands busy.
I have better uses for mine.
Listen, girlie. Just because Jean Brash is a soft spot for you doesn't mean I concur. Finish that basket, get it pinned up, and not another word will lip out of you. You hear me?
Aye. Right.
Good. Stay with your tilts, and you and I'll get along just fine.
Grace.
Eh? John Mackey? My God, what are you doing here?
I need help.
What for?
A bad thing. No me, Alec Russell did it.
I warned you about him.
I need a hidey hole.
I haven't got one.
Please, Gracie.
Hold on. That door, the cellar. If I can sneak the spare key. A wee room at the back no one ever goes. You could bide there.
Oh, I love you, lassie.
When it suits. Don't you budge till I get that outside door open.
Grace.
What?
If I bide in, will you visit?
Depends how busy I am.
You've always had time for me.
I'm a big girl now. Time is money.
So, the jewels were in this box.
Yes.
Which is now empty.
As far as the eye can see.
Huh? Woods are scraped round this window. A break-in, maybe.
The damp. Mr. Buchan fixed it.
Buchan being the butler.
Correct.
Who was found face downwards, facing this way, Deduction being that he walked in the door and was hit on the back of the head.
Or he let them in.
I resent that implication.
All possibilities must be considered.
I've got a splinter.
Soak it in hot water.
That's what my mammy says, it never works.
Other servants?
The maid. She had the night off. A sick sister.
Did the maid have keys?
No, only Buchan and I.
Then how did the thieves get in, Mrs. Selkirk?
You tell me. You're the policeman.
They were let in.
Then why was he struck down?
A subterfuge?
Perhaps to disguise complicity.
Complicity? Buchan has been in my husband's family for generations. He's a frail old body who lives only to serve. How can anyone, even a pair as callow and feckless as you are, possibly suspect the man?
This is not usual.
What is more natural to you?
Mistress of my fate.
And you lack that feeling now?
They say you have the gift, second sight.
I do not have the first. I can sense a loss. Sacrifice.
Business is poor, right enough.
What is it you seek?
I had a lover. He went back to his wife. Good riddance. But it has left a gap. An emptiness. I'm doubtful of the future and cannot glory in the present. I am Jane Brash. I keep the best body house in Edinburgh. I am Queen Bee. I am a legend in Leith. I should be happy.
Put your hands into mine.
Does this cost extra?
Do as you're told. I can only take from your own feelings. A life is coming to an end. A new one begins.
Where?
Not in this world.
Is that it?
That is all there is.
What is the reckoning?
What you wish.
Oh, that's a good ploy. Silver.
I recognise the sound.
Fine coin for such dismal tidings.
Dismal?
Another world. Heaven, is it?
Just somewhere. That's not here.
I'll move to Aberdeen.
Wait. Something else. My brother. John Mackey. Do you know him?
One of the street keelies. I know him.
Is he near at hand to you?
Not at all.
Strange,
Do you seek him?
He left early. Too early.
Maybe your prescience is having an off day.
A work of art. Aha! The great detective. How did it go?
Terrible.
Tell me no more. I'm off the case.
Oh, no, sir, I beg you. Ask, as it were, any help, advice. Most appreciated.
You went round the pawns?
With an item list of the jewels. Nothing.
Point of entry?
Nothing forced.
False keys, picklocks?
It's an old lock, but strong, well-fashioned, not easy sprung.
Inside job?
According to Mrs. Selkirk, Wednesday was the butler's night off. I went a wee drink with his friends. She thinks he must have come back early and disturbed the thieves.
Or he is suspect?
A falling out, possible. I went round the hospital. He still lies unconscious.
Any witnesses? Neighbours?
Not a thing. One old biddy even threw a bucket of water at Miller.
Did she drown him?
No. He's in pain, though. Skelf in his finger.
What a pity. You talked to the old biddy?
Wouldn't open the door. Thought we were robbers.
Did she have net curtains?
Eh?
Were they twitching?
I don't know what you're getting at, sir.
There's aye one in the street who makes it their business to know abody else's, and they guard that knowledge like the miser does his gold. They also live in fear that folk may find out about their lang-legged quisitive ways. A great banging on the door, such as from Miller's officious hand, can put them in a terrible palpitation. But I tapped gently on the window, spoke softly through the letter-box, and Biddy MacDonald came forth. Poking out from under her lace bonnet was the nose of a born spinster, white, twitching like the curtains. She admitted to keeking over at the Selkirk house the night in question, and seeing two men emerge. One, a wee fella, scuttled off into the night, but the other stood for a moment, tall, burly, a shock of black hair with a white streak, and sporting a scarlet neckerchief. One of my charges answered that. Alec Russell, a known house thief with a hair-trigger temper. Bit of a dandy, with a Dulcinea who also loved to bedeck herself. In my experience, though thieves will fence the plunder, they cannot resist a trinket. On the list of stolen items was a small brooch shaped like a rose, and when we tracked him down in his usual drinking den, there it sat upon his Dulcinea's proud breast.
I know nothing, Inspector.
What's the word, Mulholland, when you land a fish and you put a big hook right up through its belly?
Gaff.
Russell, you're gaffed like a salmon.
You were seen emerging from the house.
After smashing the old boy down. Dead, isn't he?
What?
Thieving and murder. A fine combination.
I did nothing.
We have you on possession.
Where are the rest of the jewels?
He's got them.
Who?
That hook in your belly. The more you fight, the deeper it goes. Give up the struggle, Alec.
John Mackey. He did it all. Hit the old boy, ran away with a lift. I was only left with that keepsake.
I know Mackey. A wee Keely. Not big enough for this.
Don't you believe it? They're all schemed, and he's vicious, day. Vicious.
How did you get in?
He had keys.
Where from?
I don't know.
Where is he now?
Could be in China.
Don't get sneesty, Alec, or you'll carry it all, 25 years and more. Now where is John Mackey?
He has a sister. I goes to her. He has a sister.
Your cooperation, much appreciated.
I have nothing to hide. Your constable may continue to search my house.
He's good at that. They say you're a witch.
There are many kinds of witches.
Bonny garden. How do you tell the weeds apart?
By touch. This is vervain. Smell.
Very nice.
It's a herba sacra, divine, said to cure the bites of all rabid animals.
Aye, well. Sooner we find your brother, the better. He has much to answer for.
John is easily led, not violent. That is not his way. Unlike you.
Eh? What do you mean by that?
Your life is full of violence. Murder, deceit, treachery. Like a second skin.
I slough it off every night.
A dark shadow follows you.
As long as it doesn't catch up. What is this shadow going to visit upon me?
I don't know, but it gathers strength.
Found something, sir. Where he slept.
Throw them down. Are these yours?
What are they?
Keys, Mrs. Selkirk, to your own front door. How did the criminals come by them?
Let me see. Oh, of course. How could I be so stupid? They are my late husband's.
How is that?
Oh, when he died, in all the confusion, they went missing. I thought they would turn up eventually, but someone must have taken them and...
Sold them on to the thieves.
Exactly.
And who would have done this?
After the death, so many strangers in the house, tradesmen, the undertakers, extra staff for the funeral arrangements. It could have been anyone.
So it could.
One good thing. These keys and the testimony of this man, Russell, would seem to clear Mr. Buchan from any blame. I deeply resented your constable's imputation to the contrary.
Young men lack delicacy. Oh, we did manage to retrieve this piece of jewellery. It is yours, is it?
A cheap thing. I do charitable work, and one of the poor wretches gave it to me as a present.
Probably stole it.
I didn't have the heart to refuse it.
Of course not. Here it is anyway. It's the thought that counts.
The rest of my jewellery is of considerable value. Have you retrieved that?
Not yet.
Then I suggest, in the absence of further questions, you make it your business.
Indeed. Indeed we will. Come along, Mulholland. You've wasted enough of this good lady's time. Oh, a trifling thought.
Yes?
The jewels, were they insured?
I expect so.
Then if the worst comes to the worst...
They were presents from my husband to me. They are irreplaceable. Money does not come into it. I want them back.
John, it's me. I brought you some cake.
Where is it?
In my bodice.
I better get it then, eh?
Cattle market, nothing but farmers up to their knees in dung.
Oh, nice and warm.
So it should be.
Grace, hurry up with the bottles.
Just coming! Oh, if they catch on, Hannah will murder me.
Go one more errand for me tomorrow, I'll put you in no more danger.
But John, I like danger. Now finish your cake.
McCleavy, a moment. Constable Miller tells me you have taken him off the case.
He's got a sick finger.
Where is the report I requested?
On your desk, under the golfing periodicals.
It was at my entreaty the inspector assumed command again, sir. We were getting nowhere.
I see. So?
One of the transgressors already under lock and key, and I have made some inquiries in the lower depths of Leith as regards the other. We will find him.
And the stolen jewels to boot, sir.
Well, let us hope that your confidence is not misplaced.
Mrs. Selkirk, how long is she widowed?
Close to a year now.
She seems a vital young woman.
William Selkirk was a deal older.
How did he die?
Heart attack.
Overexertion, maybe. How did he make a living?
Property he bought and sold.
Speculator. A risky business.
You find the criminals, McCleavy, and leave respectable folk alone.
You should not have come.
He suspects something.
McCleavy has a curious mind. He's been after me these many years, but all he has grasped is thin air.
You promised no violence.
Well, I cannot be held responsible for the actions of a half-wit. All will be well. I have the plunder. You will get your insurance money. You will pay me half. And I shall destroy your gems for the worthless copies they are.
Then I want no more to do with you.
Who knows what the future may bring?
That poor man. I went to see him in the hospital. He lies there like the dead.
Conscience, what a nagging wife.
I've had him put in private quarters.
That'll cost you. He came back early. Bad luck. Better all round if he did die.
You disgust me.
Don't forget what is at stake here. Your husband's good name.
I have done all this to protect his name.
And your own. Now, I suggest, my dear lady, that you go home. And stay home.
Out there in the city, an old man fights for his life. A young man hides his face. Stolen jewels are fondled by unlawful fingers, and something connects them all together. The spider's touch, how exquisitely fine, feels at each thread and lives along the line. But who sits at the centre, where all the threads meet? And then, the White Witch, her eyes sightless behind veiled lids. What does she sense? What darkness follows me? Does she have power? Or is it just my superstition, the remnants of a religious belief once held, now banished? What? What was that? A shadow just crossed me. Ah, but it's only moonlight, and a black cat crossing the roof above. Aye, only a passing shadow.
Fine morning, sir.
So far.
Probably a bit of mist still on the river. Trout on the rise. Flick of the wrist.
And there goes the bait.
Eh?
Grace Pringle. Pretty wee girl. My informants tell me that her pouty is John Mackey.
She works for Jean Brash. No lovers allowed.
You say so. She dotes on the market, and I'd hoped to find her here. But see, no frills or knickknacks bought. Straight on through, as if she has a place to go.
She'll lead us to Mackey.
She'll lead us somewhere. Now there's a strange door to knock on.
Mr. Silas Ogilvy's. In she goes.
Silas Ogilvy. A respectable pawnbroker by appearance, but in reality...
one of the biggest receivers in Edinburgh.
I'd give what's left of my teeth to convict that man.
You seem flushed, Grace. Young blood.
I bear a message from John Mackey.
John Mackey?
He did a job for ye. He wants his pay.
I regret the name means nothing. Out of the goodness of my heart, I might give a few coins for the boy.
That's no enough.
If it was you that wanted payment, Grace.
Is this your answer?
Such sweet skin.
Go to hell.
I'll come tonight and buy you every inch.
Go to hell.
The young woman slammed shut the door of Ogilvy's house as if by the force she hoped to bring it all down. Not so easy. I put Mulholland up to dog her in the hope that the passion and anger obviously boiling within might lead to a false step without. Experience has taught me that passion can be a great betrayer. As for myself, I resolved to give Bumpy Drawers a poke. Just for the devil of it.
This place is like Waverley Station.
What was Grace Pringle doing, buying a ticket?
She came to offer her services on the sly.
And you refused?
Everything in its place. Besides, I do not wish to cheat your friend Jean Brash out of her lawful revenue.
She is no friend of mine.
Folks say different. Have you ever had drapped eggs, Inspector?
No.
Poached in the gravy from the liver of a fowl. Delicious. My midday meal.
The Selkirk robbery, jewels of great value.
What's that to do with me?
Biggest fence in Edinburgh, folks say.
Search this house from top to bottom, all you'll find is mirrors.
You've enough of them.
I like looking at myself. Such a glorious prospect, don't you think?
One day I'll find your stash, and I'll put you away for life.
But until then, I may regard myself with a measure of satisfaction.
18, 30, 20. Oh!
Noticed? Lost your count.
The corner. Did I not see a rat?
Could be. There's a plague of them.
Have you put down poison?
The beasts are impervious.
We cannot have the just land hoaching with rodents, Hannah.
Aye. Enough get through at the door.
Deal with it then.
You're gay crabby these days.
I just don't like rats.
This is illegal, sir.
Breach of a body house. Don't be daft. Let us hope that what you told me back at the station holds true.
I saw her plain. She bought a loaf of bread, a hunk of cheese in the shop, then back to the Just Land, down the cellar steps to this door.
How long ago?
About an hour. Secured it behind her.
Nearly there.
How did you get these lockpicks?
Confiscated from a craftsman. Hidden in my desk. And not a word to the lieutenant. Open sesame.
Can we not just knock at the front?
Where's your sense of adventure, man?
No sign of Grace.
Afternoon shift. What was that?
Probably infested.
I've stood in something.
Shh. A door at the end there.
So it is. You do it, in case there's a pistol behind.
Sense of adventure, eh?
Open sesame!
Hold him! Get him inside! Get him inside!
Hannah, what's going on down there?
It's in the cellars.
But just stop it then.
I'm no a regiment.
What's happening?
Get back to the sheets.
Judge McGregor, I falls asleep.
Go on, Hannah, get downstairs.
No, by my lonesome.
Oh, come on then.
Just kiss the cuffs, my manny. Pull the curtain, Mulholland.
Right away, sir.
Let there be light. John Mackey, long looked for, come at last.
James McLeavy, what are you doing in my cellar?
You've harboured the fugitive, Mistress Brash.
Oh, poor wee love, that big lump sitting on you.
There was two of them, Gracie.
I'm not a lump.
Light as a feather. Come on, you.
I may press charges, Jean.
Press and be damned.
Is this your doing?
I was that sorry for him.
How did you two get in here?
Oh, it's all my fault, thanks.
Glad to hear it. Consider yourself saved, Jean.
Get out of my house!
Poisoning's too good for you.
Come on, sir, while still ahead.
All right, you will accompany us, Grace. The prison cell awaits.
Why did you not tell me?
You'd hae nae mercy on him.
Well, now there's nae mercy for either of you.
Poor wee Grace. Covered with sook the bloods in the Perth Penitentiary.
She was only trying to help.
She's an accomplice. That's severe.
I could put a word in, but...
What?
Depends.
Oh, I can't betray a comrade.
Alec Russell, he betrayed you.
How's the old butler fella?
Dead.
No, he's not.
Nearly.
I tried to protect him.
You're being blamed for everything, John. The assault, the break-in, the robbery, all your planning.
I never. I just ran with the keys. Russell had the plunder.
Not when we found him.
Well, he passed it over.
Into whose hands?
Who's behind it all, John?
He wouldn't even pay me.
You and Grace. You get the blame. Twa flies stuck in the web. Who weaves it, John? Who is the big, fat spider?
Silas Ogilvy. Well, it's one thing to be told and quite another to prove.
For once we're in agreement, sir.
We've raided that house twice.
I found nothing but embarrassment.
Aye. His stash is too cleverly concealed. We have to find a way whereby...
He leads us to the stolen goods.
Exactly.
When you and I are in accord, McCleavy, I get perturbed. It is a bad omen. What is it, Miller?
A woman at the desk for the inspector.
What's her name?
I didn't like to ask.
How's your finger, Constable?
Oh, better.
But the rest of you, still the same, eh? Excuse me.
What did he mean by that?
It is a mystery to us all, Miller.
The White Witch? What brings you here?
My brother. A waking dream. He was in chains.
Or someone sent you word?
It was a message, of sorts.
John Mackey is in the cells.
May I visit him?
Why?
Consolation.
He's in much need of that. He will suffer the full weight of the law unless... A fat spider sits in the middle of the web. It will not move. It will not betray itself. How is that accomplished?
Put your hands in mine.
Not in the middle of the station.
Do it.
There.
You know the woman then, Inspector?
Be quiet, Miller.
The web cannot be destroyed by water or air. It is above the earth. There is only one element the spider fears.
What? What's going on? Oh. Oh, God help me! God help me this night!
Your house is aflame, Maester!
Fetch! Oh, fetch the brigade!
I'll endeavour, but run! Take what you can and run for your life, sir, for your life!
Miller is gilding the lily.
This doesn't work. We'll be hung, drawn and quartered.
Hardly see through the window for smoke.
And whose fault is that?
Wait. There he is. Oh, what a panic's in his breasty.
Where is he going? Well, would you look at that for a hidey hole, eh?
A glorious prospect. I should have twigged.
That's enough. Enough. That'll keep me fine. The house can burn. I'll buy another. Fine. Open the door, and I'm fine.
Silas! They couldn't find the fire brigade, so here I am instead. How are you?
McCleavy, get out of my way!
That's a gay big sack you have.
We'll burn in hell!
Give me that. Thank you very much.
We'll burn, I tell you!
I think not. It'll die down very soon.
A false fire. You set a false fire!
Now, to do that, I'd need some lockpicks and enter illegally. Put a bunch of filthy rags in your hearth, ignite them, and then retire outside. Whereas what no doubt happened was that a bird's nest fell down the chimney and precipitated combustion in the fire embers. A gay big bird, possibly an eagle.
A rich collection here, sir.
All stolen, no doubt, and who knows what else in that cavity behind the mirror, Silas.
You'll be still, McCleavy.
Ah, good match. My throat and your knife.
A sailor pawned it, sharp as diamond. Now, give me the bag back. It's mine. Mine!
No argument. There it is.
Now you and I will walk some way, McCleavey, and then I'll bid you goodbye.
No argument. Save the one thing.
True enough.
And what is that?
Oh! My constable is a demon with that stick. Now we have attempted murder of an officer to go with receiving. Miller!
Here I am, sir, out of disguise.
Take Bumphy here to the station.
You've broken my hand!
A sore finger's a terrible thing. Come on.
One day, sir, you will rely too much on that stick of mine.
One day, no doubt. But see here, in all that stramash, I've lost a button from my sleeve. We must find it at all costs.
Most certainly. But first of all, catalogue the stolen items. Wouldn't you say?
A delicate business, Mrs. Selkirk.
How so?
We have recovered the jewels and arrested the man responsible.
Silas Ogilvy. Do you know of him?
Not at all.
As I say, recovered your property, but a problem has arisen.
What problem?
The jewels are fake.
Paste. Imitation, I'm afraid.
How can that be?
Ogilvy claims that over the last year he sold the real jewels for you abroad, and he had copies manufactured so no one would know. He also claims that you then suggested a plan to defraud the insurance company, and that it was you who handed over the keys of the house.
The man is mad.
No doubt. But the gems are false.
Do you have an explanation?
Oh, I believe I may. My late husband made some unwise investments. He had debts. They must be paid.
You think he may have...
sold or deposited the jewels as security for a loan, intending to replace them later when things improved.
And so the thieves unwittingly stole what was worthless?
Yes.
And you yourself did not know that you were wearing paste?
In the early years of our marriage, my husband showered me with gifts. I did not ask for them. I did not want them. I never wore the things unless he requested. I have no need of decoration.
That is plain to see, Mrs. Selkirk.
I trust this will not come out in court, but if so, it is the word of that odious man against mine, and I know who the judge will believe.
But you'll get no insurance money.
It clarifies my thought. I have no need of all this. I shall sell the house and all my other possessions.
Oh, my dear lady, a wee bit drastic.
I should have done it before.
But it is your home.
I have no need of it. I am at my happiest with little. Working. To help the poor. All I've ever wanted to do. I married William Selkirk to please my parents. They thought my choice of vocation unseemly for a woman of my class.
Unseemly? Charity committees, my wife is never out of them.
I lived with the poor. Worked with them, cheek by jowl. I care for those less fortunate.
Like your butler.
Buchan recovered his wits this morning. The doctors are confident of his return to health.
All's well that ends well, eh?
Good day, gentlemen.
So, do you believe Mrs. Selkirk?
She told some truth. I've no doubt the husband died leaving heavy debts. She sold the jewels to pay them off, but there were more debts. I'm sure it was Ogilvy suggested the swindle to her. He is an insidious swine.
Well, we have him on so many counts. He may be persuaded to drop his allegations.
Not if it means a reduction of sentence. Not 1 minute less.
I'm sure that will not arise.
If I'm asked on the stand, I will not deny what I know.
Only if asked a specific question. Other than that, you will confine yourself. Silence is golden, McCleavey.
You seem angry, Inspector.
Proverbs irritate me. I went to the hospital. The butler Buchan confirmed to me that it was Russell who attacked him.
And my brother's part?
He tried to interpose himself to protect the old man.
That's a mercy.
It may mitigate the judgment.
Thank you for telling me this.
I had another motive. This shadow you sensed, does it still follow me?
It does.
Is it the shadow of death?
That never leaves us. Here.
What's this?
Rue. The herb of grace. Prevents contagion.
Dear Judge MacGregor, I hesitate to put pen to paper, but the certain knowledge of your gentle reception of this letter has overcome my scruples. One of my employees, Grace Pringle, has unfortunately become involved in a case which I believe will shortly come before you for judgment. Of course, you know her, and she you through other exchanges, and I wanted to assure you that whatever the outcome of the judgment, and especially once I instruct Grace to this end, not one word of familiarity will escape her lips. Poor Grace. She mixed business with pleasure, an unstable and dangerous pursuit. They must always be kept apart. Do you not agree? I am sending this epistle to your chambers to ensure total confidentiality, which, after all, is the watchword of my house. I shall also seal it with wax. One cannot be too careful. Your obedient servant, Jean Brush. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
You busy, mistress?
Not really.
The girls had a collection for Grace.
Did you contribute?
Held the bag.
Never liked her, did you, Hannah?
She was too lippy.
And what were you at her age?
The soul of obedience.
I doubt it.
You were soft on her, mistress.
She reminded me of someone I once knew. I'm out to deliver this letter.
Can you no post it?
I don't trust the post.
One thing, Grace. Need to replace her.
No shortage of candidates.
Aye, but her speciality. Innocence is hard to find.
I'll be the judge of that.
One thing my mother taught me when young was the rudiments of thread and needle. I think she divined, even at such an early stage, that I might lead a singular existence. Of course, I could ask my landlady, but there is something curiously soothing about the reparation of things rent asunder. To wit, one button, one sleeve. Soothing. Peaceful. Lets the mind settle back like an old man on a park bench. I suppose Mulholland feels the same on the river. Just him and the fish. Similar mentality. So, now I am 3 in 1. The fates. The line has been spun. It's strong enough, and all I have to do is, first, a wee keek to make sure there's no dark shadow lurking in the corner. What did the White Witch say? Death never leaves us. So be it. I cut the thread.